the main reason we saw a big jump in travel nursing pay was that these hospitals actually received federal funding. They received federal funding, they received PPP loans, and they also received state funding. So during the last couple of years, there was something called the Allocation of Provider Relief Fund, which provided about $178 billion for healthcare providers, such as hospitals. Rural places also got a nice cut of that. Just hospitals in general and practitioners, medical facilities got this giant boost in funding, basically. So about $178 billion was allocated for this allocation of provider relief fund. So I was actually looking at the whole pie. The whole pie was $178 billion. And I kind of looked at what pieces were funding what. So roughly saying out of that $178 billion fund, about $127 billion of that was actually given towards most hospitals. If you wanted to see the actual breakdown of these numbers, like how much was given to rural hospitals, how much was given to, let's just say, high infection hospitals, that's all in our show notes on couplenurses.com. So check that out. I'm not going to numbers here, but about $127 billion was given for the most part to the hospitals across the United States. And there are about 6,000 major hospitals in the U.S. So if you break that up evenly, that $127 billion, that gives you about $20.7 million of extra funding per major hospital. And of course, your bigger hospitals received more of that funding. So obviously this $127 billion was not given evenly. Bigger hospitals got more, major healthcare facilities got more of that, but roughly there was $127 billion more money to play around and throw around in. So of course, hospitals having more money, they don't have to worry about, you could say, margins as much because they're getting these millions from the federal government. So they were able to spend it on travel nurses. We also seen a big opportunity in opening new units. A few of the hospitals that we've traveled to, they ended up opening new units. So they didn't just spend this money on nurses, they spent it basically on the whole system itself. It helped out physicians, it helped out certain units. So they were able to use this money whichever way they saw fit. So like I said, of course, hospitals took advantage of this, paying nurses more temporarily, but they also ended up spending some of that money to long-term projects such as new units and things like that, maybe updating their ERs, updating their ICUs or equipment. So that money was definitely not put to waste. But I'll be honest with you guys, some of that money was also taken as a profit for the hospital.